Yo, One Piece fan, you might want to consider subscribing to this channel because I'm about to outpace all your favorite One Piece content creators. So yeah, let's get straight into the video. Now, as of recent, I've been watching One Piece non-stop, like the video if you can relate, but I started to realize that Oda constantly tries to remind us that MarieJois has a treasure that can utilize devil fruit powers. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that the national treasure can be used using some devil fruit powers. Like, you need a devil fruit that will enhance the treasure. It's like basically an attachment to the national treasure, but I'll get to more of that. Now, what do I mean by using devil fruit powers? The biggest piece of information I was able to find supporting this comes from no other than the man himself, Doflamingo. Now, Doflamingo says three interesting things to take note of. Now, the first thing that Doflamingo mentions is that if he had Law's devil fruit powers on that day, he would have been able to use the national treasure of Marejois. Second, he mentions how valuable Law's powers are, the actual fruit's powers, what they can do, and we'll get to the third point. And now the third point is he mentions what the two techniques that are the most useful is the immortality technique and the personality switching surgery. Now, why would Law's devil fruit powers be useful for using the treasure? Wouldn't make any sense because Opi Opi no Mi's powers are mainly used on biological living things, and from the episode where we saw the treasure, it looks like it was a huge hat, so there's no connection there that we can really make. The most interesting thing about the reveal of the treasure is the actual location of the treasure. We notice it's in some huge freezer type place, and the only other place we've seen like that is in Thriller Bark with Moria. From Moria, we saw that he had to have these huge freezers to keep all these corpses alive so he could activate it with his devil fruit power. So this leads me to believe that I think the hat is not actually the treasure, but it's more of a marker for a body or a corpse that is actually a Marejois, and that's the actual national treasure. Yo, right before we get into the second half of the theory, I just want to let you know thanks for watching this far, and if you could like and subscribe because I'm a brand new One Piece content creator, so it helps up a lot. So thank you, and we'll get right back into it. One of the biggest unsolved mysteries we still have after the Marineford War is why Doflamingo was ordered to kill Moria. Doflamingo said he was ordered by someone even higher up than Sengoku, implying the Gorosei, but now that we know about I'm Summer, it's most likely him. Even when Doflamingo failed to kill Moria, it was said that it was no laughing matter. And the reason why Moria was wanted by even the higher up of the world government is because his devil fruit abilities also give him access to the true power of the Marejois treasure. Now, if we take into consideration what I said before about the treasure not being the actual hat and maybe a corpse of something, this will make sense why Moria was hunted and why Trafalgar Law is also hunted. This idea would fit in perfectly with the powers that Doflamingo described. The personality switching operation would allow him to transfer himself to the corpse, and the immortality operation will allow him to live in that forever as a person. As we saw when Nami and Sanji switched bodies, strength is indeed determined by the body, not the soul. Nami would comment while she was in Sanji's body that she was able to tank hits and how surprising little damage she actually took, while when Sanji was in Nami's body and did the skywalk, she took a lot of damage, thus meaning a strong body is still a powerful weapon given that you had some way to utilize it. Given the straw hat is the marker, what I'm looking at is could potentially be a tomb for the Gold D Roger. It would make sense. This is why the Marines were the ones to execute him, so they could have his body. We know that thanks to Moria that bodies can be reanimated, so the government would likely hold on to the corpse. There isn't enough info to say it for sure, but the corpse of Gold D Roger though, I think it really is him. It could be anyone who wore the straw hat, maybe someone from the Void Century like Joy Boy. All I'm saying is that that body is of someone incredibly powerful. Now keep in mind what I just said, and now let's take another look at what Doflamingo said in chapter 906. Doflamingo mentions to the thing, isn't it fine to reveal what it is already? Power degrades quickly anyway, it rots away in no time at all. Could it be that Doflamingo is dropping a hint that the treasure itself rots away in no time? I would venture to say yes. The thing is, in the freezer where I'm Summer is, there isn't just one of these tombs, but there's many, and there's also a light to the center one where the straw hat is, but there are also others. Perhaps the world government has been collecting the bodies of leaders of the ancient kingdom and various strong pirates throughout the ages. Could the world government have been amassing an army of strong bodies? This could also be another reason why they made Moria a warlord. So some of you are probably thinking that this makes Moria too important to the story, but I don't think his power is the only one that can control bodies, and I also think that his power is weaker at controlling the national treasure. We already know that the Obi no Mi could be used for a singular body, and I think it's likely that the government, maybe even Im himself, has a power to manipulate bodies. I think Moria was just a loose end that was able to control bodies, and they made him a warlord and then try to kill him to tie up that loose end. Unfortunately for the world government, it looks like Moria's powers have fallen directly into the hands of Blackbeard, which makes a great story. Like, imagine if towards the end of the war, boom, Blackbeard just comes out and he's also able to control the national treasure. So with everything I've just said, this is the reason why I believe Trafalgar Law is the key to the national treasure of MarieJois. I believe it is actually his devil fruit powers which will give him full access or full power of whatever the treasure is that national MarieJois. But to me, I believe that the treasure is a corpse of someone very powerful like Goldie Roger, maybe someone from the previous Void centuries, maybe even multiple people, because there's a lot of rooms in there. And there, that's basically the theory. Law is the key to the MarieJois treasure. Now I hope that you enjoyed that theory, and if you stuck around this long, I'm not even going to ask you to like or subscribe because it means so much to me that you stayed around for this long anyway. So if you do want to also be listening to my new One Piece theories and daily discussions, make sure you do subscribe and hit that like button because it helps me a lot. I'm a brand new One Piece content creator, and basically this will help a bunch. So thanks, see ya.